Hey, I'm Jusko from ProudMoney.com, and in this video I'm going to tell you what credit card you should get next. But first I'm going to ask you to please subscribe to this YouTube channel if you have not already, and if you have already, I thank you for doing so. So normally, if you were to ask me what credit card should I get next, I would get all wishy-washy, and I'd be like, well, it depends. Depends on what other cards you have. It depends on what your credit score is. Depends on what you want out of your rewards, all that kind of stuff. But for this video, not going to do it. I'm just going to name the card, tell you what credit card you should get next. And that card is the Citi Custom Cash Card. That is the credit card that you should get next. Now, if you already have the Citi Custom Cash Card, we've made like 600 other videos, so you could go watch one of those. The Tesla Tequila unboxing is something a little different. I'll link to that up there if you want to watch that one or watch a different one. So why the Citi Custom Cash Card? Because across the board, regardless of what your current credit card situation is, that is the card that I could justify to you. Whether you are looking for a card to use every day for all your purchases, or you're looking for something to complement what you already have, the Citi Custom Cash Card could fit the bill. Now, if you're someone that has any awareness of the current credit card market, you might say to me, there's no way you can justify that Citi Custom Cash Card as anyone's everyday credit card to use for all their purchases. Well, I am going to justify it, but before I do that, we're going to take a look at the particulars of the Citi Custom Cash Card real quick. Citi Custom Cash Card, no annual fee. You are going to get 5 points per dollar equal to 5% cash back, although you could also use your points in other ways. So 5% cash back in the category where you spend the most each month from a list of eligible categories, which we'll talk about in a second. And that is on up to $500 of purchases in that 5% category. So you can get 5% on one category, everything else with the card, 1%, regardless of whether that's a different purchase or if it's that same top category and you've gone over $500. Anything else is only going to get you 1%. There's a bonus opportunity as I'm making this video, $200 if you spend $750 with the card in the first 3 months of having it. Now, you don't necessarily have to choose what that 5% category is going to be each billing cycle. Citi is just going to look at your spending from that past billing cycle, and they're going to attach that 5% reward to the category where you spent the most. Now, there aren't an unlimited number of categories, and you can't make up your own categories. They have a list, and so the categories as they exist as I make this video are restaurants, grocery stores, gas stations, select travel, which means just kind of your main travel, airline tickets, and that kind of stuff. You've got select transit, which is going to include most things like subways and taxis and Uber and Lyft and that kind of stuff. Select streaming services, which is going to include most of the big names, drugstores, home improvement stores, fitness clubs, and live entertainment. So it's not a big leap to say that if you added a credit card that had a 5% reward in a category where you were spending a lot each month, that would be the next card that you should add to your wallet. Add to that the fact that you've got a nice bonus and no annual fee. Citi Custom Cash Card, the next card for you. Now, the naysayers are going to say nay. They are going to say that 5% category is capped at $500 per month and everything else only gets you 1%. And that is true, but I still say because even if you held this card as your only credit card, if you're someone that wanted just one credit card, I could potentially make a case for this being that card because the 5% category is so good for many, many people that it still would make this card better on average across all your purchases than some of the best cards out there. So normally if I was going to suggest just one credit card for a person to hold that didn't want to juggle a lot of credit cards and think about categories, I would say, well, you should just get yourself one of the 2% flat cash back cards. As I make this video, the Wells Fargo Active Cash Card is the suggestion there because of the fact it's 2% cash back and you've got a $200 bonus opportunity. But potentially with this card, you could carry it as your everyday card and get to that 2% level and maybe even get more than 2% depending on how your spending normally works. So that 5% category, if you made that 5% category 25% or more of your overall spending each month, well then at 25% you would get 2% on all of your purchases on average, and if you had that 5% category as more than 25% of your overall purchases, well then you would do even better than 2%. And so here is what I mean if that made absolutely no sense. Let's say that you spend $2,000 per month on this card. You max out that 5% category at the $500. Let's say maybe you spend $500 on groceries and you spend $1,500 on a bunch of other stuff. When you look at the overall average of those purchases, that would be 2% across the board, because on the 500 end, you are going to get $25 in rewards, and the $1,500 spend, you are going to get $15 in rewards. So it would be $40 in rewards on a $2,000 spend in that month. Now, if you spend $500 on groceries and you only spent $1,000 on other purchases in the month, and this was your only card, well, then you actually would do better than 2%. Now, maybe it's not realistic to think that if you held the Citi Custom Cash Card as the only card in your wallet, that one of those 5% categories was going to account for 25% or more of your overall card spend. I could see grocery stores maybe being 25% or more, maybe gas, maybe restaurants, maybe here and there, some of those other categories from month to month. But it's not always going to be realistic for everyone, but for some people it could be realistic. If you don't put a whole lot of charges on your card, but you do spend a lot on groceries or gas or one of these other categories, well, potentially this is a card that you could have as your everyday credit card across the board. Now, if you spent over $2,000 per month on your credit card and you only wanted to hold one credit card, well, then my rationale for the Citi Custom Cash Card falls apart a little bit, because anything that you spend over $2,000 per month, those dollars would be guaranteed to only get you a 1% reward beyond $2,000. But in reality, I'm not really making all that strong of a case for this to be your everyday credit card. I'm just saying it could be your everyday credit card, and for some people, they'd be perfectly happy with it as their everyday credit card. For most people, though, and for me personally, I say choose one of those categories, get the 5% in that category, and then use other cards for your other purchases. So for me, I have chosen restaurants. So the restaurants is where I'm going to get 5%, and that's pretty much the only time the card is going to come out. I'm not going to make other purchases with it. Citi would not like to hear that, but that is how it is. I'm sure I'm not the only person that already has this rationale in their heads. So choose restaurants, choose gas, choose grocery stores, choose whatever that category is going to be, and then if you consistently only spend in that category with the card, well, then obviously this card is the next card that you can choose, because you're now getting 5% in a category where you weren't before. Now, like I said earlier in the video, the wishy-washy answer to what credit card you should get next is it depends, and it does depend on what your spending is, what other cards you have, what your credit score is, all kinds of stuff. But right now, as I make this video, that Citi Custom Cash Card is the card I would tell you to get next if I knew nothing else about you. So that is it. I would love to hear if you agree or disagree with my rationale. If you have a different card that you think would be the best card for everyone across the board, or at least the most number of people, I'd love to hear what that is. Or if you are in a situation where the Citi Custom Cash Card is not going to be your next card, I'd love to hear what you have your eyes on. Put it all in that comment section below. Otherwise, I thank you for watching. And as always, please go to proudmoney.com, where we do credit card reviews, we talk personal finance, and we talk deals, and all sorts of other fun stuff too. Thanks for watching. Bye.